The article is entitled Billionaire Cartier Owner Sees Wealth Gap Fueling Social Unrest. Johan Rupert, the South African who has made billions peddling Cartier jewelry and Clos fashion, said tension between the rich and poor is set to escalate as robots and artificial intelligence fuel mass unemployment. Quote, we cannot have 0.1% of 0.1% taking all the spoils, said Rupert, who has a fortune worth of $7.5 billion. It's unfair and it's not sustainable. He went on to ask, how is society going to cope with structural unemployment and the envy, hatred, and the social welfare? We are destroying the middle class at this stage, and it will affect us. It's unfair. So that's what keeps me awake at night. The final thing that he said was this: we're in for a huge change in society. Get used to it and be prepared. Sounds like I don't want to. I know he's probably not listening to this show, but it sounds like something Chris Wayne would say. Get used to it. Be prepared. What else do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, he touched on all the issues that we've touched on. I mean, we talked about the wealth disparity, the unfair nature of the economic system. I think he probably tapped into the fact that most of these oligarchs don't give a rat's ass about their families, much less humanity. And also the real structures that are happening. Not only is this an unsustainable system where all this wealth is going to the top that is going to fuel a lot of frustration, especially in the American culture, if all this power goes from west to east, where the manufacturing jobs and all the things that we had been accustomed to, now are gone forever for generations. And then throwing the fact, this wild card out there, not even a wild card, the certainty, that technology at some point is going to, take what, once was the only way, for humanity to, create wealth, which was with their own hands, their own labor, and take away those jobs. It's like, that's something that I don't think I know the McDonald's workers or even the middle class white Americans that are shuffling paper products or people around, have any clue of how that's happening. And this is going to happen within our child's lifetime. I mean, 20 years from now, and look at how, 20 years ago, we were in 1995, did the internet even exist then?
We didn't even have cell phones yet.
Yeah, cell phones. I remember cell phones being gigantic. I remember I was talking to my wife. My daughter looked at an old movie with the rotary dial, and I said, well, geez, I even remember that. I mean, technology is going to go much more faster. And I've said before in many videos, the guys that are funding this technology have this psychopathic nature of exploiting humanity, controlling humanity, watching over humanity. And they're going to create systems that are going to be antithetical to a happy human race. And they will not care about wealth disparity. They're going to go onto their own islands and live off of the spoils that they have. There's ways of dealing with this. You could have the age-old pitchforks and torches and start murdering these people and running into their homes, which is what the French Revolution was about. And you'll most likely give rise to a whole bunch of new collectivist tyrants and like Robespierre, who will then turn their targets and bloodlust onto other people. Or you can start creating self-sustainable societies and focus on, what are the three things we've said: real friends, real skills, and real wealth. And as for me, I am focusing on having the real capital, because I know that this whole fiat debt-based generational Ponzi scheme is going to come to an end. So many of these billionaires that, this guy's talking about have their wealth into paper assets that are going to get absolutely obliterated. Like, stock exchanges are going to cease functioning, and valuations in the companies and, the profit and losses of Apple. No one's going to give a shit about the iPhone 7 if, the financial system doesn't work, if people are starving, if there's riots, if there's, world wars, if there's banking crises, if the dollar collapses. Apple's, astronomical stock valuation will be worth nothing. Well, where do you think a lot of these billionaires like Carl Icahn and, have their money? It's in the stocks. It's in this paper Ponzi scheme. And when it implodes, I think a great deal of them are going to suffer catastrophic losses, to the point where, on a relative basis, you're going to see guys who are, stacking a couple thousand ounces of silver have more real tangible wealth than, maybe not Warren Buffett, but these really wealthy guys out there who actually have all their money into paper assets that will, for all intents and purposes, be worth nothing. So this is a great article. I would encourage people to go read it if you could read the headline or what people could look for it again, because he touches on so many of the topics that we're talking about. And it's good to hear somebody talking about it other than, some little guy on YouTube. It's good to hear individuals actually consciously thinking about this, and it should keep him up at night. He has been blessed with this position in life, and maybe he's now waking up to the, after focusing so hard on building a business and providing value and whatever else he did to earn all that stuff. Maybe now he's entering into later years of his life where he's like, well, what was all this for? How many fancy watches do I need? I mean, I only have one arm, and so hopefully we do get a lot more of these people stepping out. And I don't think there's too many billionaires per se that give a shit about it. But I tell you what, there's a lot of multimillionaires out there. There's a lot of wealthy people in America right now that could drastically change the fortunes of this country, their families, and people around them by simply becoming aware that this paper paradigm is not going to last, and that they need to invest in people, they need to invest in relationships, they need to invest in sustainable things, food, energy, local production there, and more importantly, get natural wealth going to have, to be able to store real tangible wealth and maybe, fund the next generation of solutions, because the story's not going to end. AI could come out. The story's not going to end. The dollar collapse is going to happen. The story's not going to end. World War III with China and Russia, the story's not going to end. There's still going to be opportunities. There's still going to be things to keep going. You're still going to have new ideas, new passions. New kids are going to come through with most amazing things that we've never even thought of before. There will always be new opportunities, but the key is to be in position to do that, because once the doors close, once this, door has been shut, there won't be any opportunity to kind of snap back. I think just from a psychological effect, people will be destroyed from it, and they won't be able to have the fortitude to go back to, rebuilding their entire lives all over again.